What is going on, collectors? Optical 20 back for another video review. Today we're going to take a look at the Black Panther original suit, and you can order this at the bigbadtoystore.com. I'll put the link down below. $4 shipping, double box your item, and you can put them on pile of loot so you can ship it all at once with $4 shipping. So let's take a look and unbox this thing. It's beautiful. I don't even need a knife. I don't know why I have that there, but you can see the Black Panther on the side. It's a shoebox type of box. It doesn't, so you take this packaging out and you got the insert of a Black Panther out there. So this is more of a the Civil War Black Panther compared to the movie version. So if you had the movie version, you can still have this. They're different enough that you don't need to choose one or the other. You know what? Even if you do have the Civil War, there's a lot of improvements between that release and this one, so you can still justify picking this up. Now let's take a look at some of the contents. I believe this is the most that I guess any Black Panther has come out with. The first one, which is the Civil War, barely just comes with hands. The second version, which is the movie version, that has some gimmick to it. It does have that UV light functionality in it, so that's a different version as well. He wore that both in the movie version pretty much and the Endgame / Infinity War, so that has a little bit of I would say sentimental value for me. But with that being said, I do love this suit. Well, as a matter of fact, I love every Black Panther out there. And Chadwick, how can you have... It's the perfect casting out there, and how could you go wrong? Look at the stand, and it does come with this stand right here. And let's take a look at all the accessories here. So you got some array of hands. I missed one. I kind of misplaced it on the back, but you can see I don't really know the difference between... I kind of call it the claw hands, I guess, because the claws are out. You can see that on the fingernails. It's nicely painted, as you can see here. Different textures on the gloves itself, and then the armor plating. And the other one, as you can see, it does not have those claws. It's kind of retracted. And you got the spear, which it comes with, I will say, the second version as well. This is on the ceremony when him and Killmonger were fighting. Ironically, he never used it on when he was wearing the suit, but it's a nice addition nonetheless. And you got this kind of like a shield slash I don't know, metal pole in it. It's very easy to attach. It's not scary compared to the Captain America shield, where you are worried that you are gonna break those tabs. There's no tabs in here, so basically you insert the arm, you remove the hands, you insert the arm, and you put the arm back, the hands back, and that's how easy it is. And then you got this mask again from the ceremony, so you have that going on. It is nice, it's beautiful, nicely textured, and you can see it does have that Hot Toys on the back of the head. It's beautiful, and then now you got the stand as well for Black Panther. It does have that cover on the circle. Probably won't remove it, not gonna lie to you. I do like it. And now let's take a look at the suit itself. I think this is one of the better suits that Hot Toys have produced ever. The design, it's not theirs, it's Marvel, but they captured it to the T. The material that they used, it has that Spider-Man feel to it, which is stretchy, but once you hold the actual fabric slash rubber, it feels stronger than the second Black Panther. The second Black Panther, it does have that feeling where you are not gonna break it, right? But it feels thin. This one has this thickness on it, and then the rubber feel, and you can see there's a lot of layers all over the body. It's different on the elbow area. There's more layers on the leg, on the shoulders, there's too many things going on. Different textures, there's designs, as you can see here on the layer itself. which makes it very, very unique and very tribal, so to speak, just representing, Wakanda and Black Panther completely. It is beautiful. And it's movable as well. As you can see, he almost fell, and that was a great save on my part. You can see here, that's the risk that you're taking if you're not using a stand. But on the back part here, you can see it trickles all the way from the back of his leg all the way up. That rubbery texture combined with different rubber materials that they just layered it upon, it just looks beautiful. I mean, it translates well not only on the screen but also when you hold it, because you hold it and it feels kind of sturdy. It really does. That's, I would say, my biggest complaint on the second part is that it feels like I'm gonna tear the suit, especially on the neck area where you keep on removing the head sculpt, replacing it back in. Mine frayed over time. This doesn't feel that's gonna happen. And you see, I was pointing out his necklace earlier, where it's beautifully painted, and it does have some details on it. Look at that on his elbows as well, nicely detailed. It's a bit sharp, but I appreciate the craftsmanship that was involved into making it. Now you can see here as well, this is the mask, which again, I love everything upon this costume. I just prefer it. It's more of a preference, honestly, rather than I just prefer this over the and I said that on my review as well. I just felt like the second version, which does have that UV ray effect, you get more bang for your buck back then, because you get the extra head sculpt, you get that UV gimmick on it. He does have some weaponry, while the Civil War version, which is this, does not have. Although I would say the mask on the second one has that, swap out options where you can see his eye. That one I do like, but I honestly, I rarely use that. But I love this. I love this look, this mask on him. I love it. I love everything, the proportions of the body, the proportions of the mask. He does really look like a panther using this mask, and I do love that silver bits of paint. It just adds to the just color scheme of Black Panther. Now look at this. This is a new one for either versions, and the ceremonial mask, I guess, if you want to call it, it is beautiful. And then you put in the head sculpt. It's nice. It's really nice. I don't know if this is gonna fit the older head sculpt, because let's pretend you do have Black Panther, the movie version. Can you just use that head sculpt to have this on all the time? I'm guessing so. Or if you have the GS Toys version, which I don't have, the third party, can you just cover his face using this mask? I do hope so. But I do love this mask. It just brings out more into the figure. Maybe somebody could, I don't know, customize a Faison body with this, where he doesn't have a shirt on, and then him fighting, Killmonger, because I did have the Killmonger statue before as well from the ceremonial. So you just remove this from the top. It's just hard because I do have a tripod by my chest here. And now the revised head sculpt. Let's take a look at this. It's decent. It's serviceable. It's not the worst thing that I've seen. It's also not their best work. Now they kind of regained all the details, the paint details that originally back then when JC Hong showed the prototype, it looks amazing. But we're in an age now where we see in art and all that stuff. This is the same sculpt basically from the previous Black Panther, which wasn't strong to begin with. It's decent. Again, I think they made some decent progress between the first one, but it's still not accurate in my opinion. The shape of the face, I think Chadwick has a more pronounced, a wider jaw than this. His cheekbones are a bit more pronounced, And overall, I just don't think they captured it. It's a solid 7 for me, maybe a 7.5. Improved paint for sure. It is an improved paint application, but it's hard to put so much praise to this when I had a custom from Max Nut years ago, and it still looks a lot better than what we have now in 2023. But again, to each his own. Now let's take a look at the articulation here. As you can see, the neck can move up this much, and then it could kind of go down. You're hitting the neck area there. If you move a little bit further, you can move the neck inside the post. Arms, no issues whatsoever. You can raise it up. You could also move the hands up to this point, but you can just be careful. You're gonna have some bunching up right by the shoulder area. It is a rubber material here, so I wouldn't leave him if you're gonna pose him like that for a long period of time. Pretty decent bend on the elbows, almost 90 degrees there, but you got some bunching and pulling going on. The torso area, you can move it around, and also side to side, and you can have some decent bend. I've seen him in the superhero landing pose, so that's pretty cool. The legs could kind of kick up, but again, you are taking the risk. If you have this figure, I recommend not posing him dynamically for a long period of time. I would highly suggest a museum pose for him. You could pose him though. I would advise to take pictures of him and see you got some toe articulation as well. Pose him around, take pictures, but always put him back in a museum pose after you're done. And also, you can see here I'm pulling the leg down because he does have that feature now, a la Iron Man. So you could have a little better range of movement once you pull this down, and you can hear a click once you do so. I just don't have the audio on here, but you do, and you'll feel it. And then you can move it back up once you're done if you don't want that feature anymore. So just letting you know it exists. I've seen some people do the ground pound pose, so I would say that is possible. It'll take a lot of courage for someone to do that, but hey, if you're up for it, go for it. And we'll put him in some poses here before we wrap this thing up. Here he is in kind of like the duel, wearing the Black Panther suit. That is a distinct advantage that he does have now over Killmonger if he did that. But yeah, he looks great. You can see him holding the spear with a mask, ready to battle. I think it looks great. And there in that waterfalls area, looks great. Looking pretty good in this pose. Here he is on the throne. I love Black Panther, the movie, so I bought a lot of things back then, considering even the throne. He sits pretty nicely here. I could have probably made more adjustments on the hands, but again, do not leave him in the throne for a long period of time if you don't want him getting damaged. Because again, the rubber suit bending for a long time, I wouldn't even consider this extreme, but you know what happens. That's gonna break on those seam lines, on the folded area. It's just not gonna be pretty. And here he is, ready to pounce in the jungle. I don't know which jungle this is, but kind of reminds me of Infinity War, that scene right there. But this is more of a safer pose, honestly. He's being held by the crotch grabber, but again, I still wouldn't risk it. But it just shows you that he could very well do this if you choose to do so. I love those hands. Like he just represents a panther altogether, doing this, and it looks really cool. And last one, size comparison next to Killmonger. I still have this guy. I love Killmonger. Character, actor portrayed it. Just awesome in that behind that false area as well. You can see them together here very nicely. Would complement one another, even though it is not technically screen accurate suit for Black Panther. I would say this is the best suit available now, and the only one available currently that you can acquire easily. And there you go, guys. Black Panther original suit. Call it the legacy suit from Hot Toys. Highly, highly recommended. If you have a Black Panther, I would still recommend it. The proportions, the shoulders, everything looks great. What you are getting, between the spear and the mask and the shield looks amazing. But overall, just the overall presence of this guy and the improvements that they made just really takes it to another level. Now, we all know the unfortunate death of Chadwick. If you're gonna pass out on this, like, hey, I'm gonna skip out on this, I don't know what you're waiting for. There's no guarantee that we will get an artisan version of Black Panther. There's just no guarantee on that. I personally, I'm not the one to do pre-orders, right? But this is released now. I wouldn't gamble on it. I wouldn't. It's sold out in most places. So if you find one for retail, I would highly suggest you get that, because God knows how many opportunities we're gonna have. I might totally eat my words for this. They might release an artisan version next year, but even then, it's gonna be hard pressed for me to take that risk. Again, worst case, if they do that, I have 2 Black Panthers. That is not a bad thing at all. I can display them in so many ways that I could think of. If they ever release an artisan, I'll be all for it. This is the great Chadwick Boseman, one of the perfect casting that Marvel did. So I wouldn't be opposed to that. But in the meantime, I'll enjoy this. Thank you for watching, guys. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.